Alright, Chapter 16, Paving Operations and Equipment. The modern use of asphalt with the road streets construction began lately in the 1800s, grew rapidly with the emerging automobile industry. Today, asphalt technology is complex. Equipment techniques use to build asphalt pavement instructions have sophisticated help with highly sophisticated. Chapter presents only the basic components, procedure, principles of paving operations. Extensive knowledge and skills required to perform operations must be gained through formal training and on-job training experience. On your rule has been remained constant throughout the long history of the use of the asphalt and construction pavement that use the good as a material workmanship that go into no amount of sophisticated equipment can be made up with the use of the poor materials, poor construction practice. Pavement construction. Modern paving is broadly divided with rigid paving, flexible paving, with typical aggregated blending of sand and gravel, crushed stone, etc., bound together with a hardened setting agent called binder. The primary difference between the two types of paving is the sand point with Greenwich used line with the chapter of the binder. The binder is the most rigid pavement and non-portable cement. The reason the rigid pavement is often referred to as concrete pavement, the flexible pavement with the binder committed of the bituminous material. Paving mixing containing a bituminous material are referred to as asphalt paving mixes. Asphalt paving mixes may be produced from a range of aggregated combinations, which a combination of it has its own characteristics, being suited specific design and construction use aside with the asphalt content. Physical characteristics of the mix and determine the relative amount of the aggregate. With the aggregate composition may vary depending on the coarse text mixture with the fine text mix during the aggregated side of the design specifications. The section of bituminous material depend upon all type of the pavement, the temperature, astrogen, rainfall type of the volume of the traffic, type of the availability of the equipment, general hard penetration grades of the asphalt pavement. They use the warm climates of the penetration good grades and cold climates. Heavier grades asphalt cut back the tars are generally used in warm regions. Asphalt materials are produced. The refined materials asphalt are produced. The variety of the type of the grades ranging from hard and brittle solid to almost water thin liquid to semi-solid form known as the asphalt cement is the basic material. Liquid asphalt produced products are generally prepared with the cutting back and bending asphalt cement over the petroleum distillated by blending an emulsified agent and the water known as asphalt emulsion. Type of liquid asphalt products are shown in Figure 16.2. Table 16.1 indicates the various types of asphalt for the different type of the constructions. Basic concept. Basic idea of the building, roads, airfields, parking areas, all weather use of the vehicle is provided with the suitable foundation provided necessary to drainage and construct the pavement that has been following characteristics. Has sufficient total thickness and internal strength to carry expected traffic loads and capable of preventing both penetration and accumulation of moisture. As the top surface is smooth and skid resistant. 4. Resistant wear of the deterioration. 5. The resistant with the deterioration caused by weather and condition and de-icing chemicals. Foundation ultimately carries with all traffic loads around for a structural function of the pavement is to support the wheel of the pavement surface onto the transfer spread of the load of the foundation without overloading the strength of the subgrade of the internal strength of the pavement and itself. Figure 16.23 shows the wheel load being the transmitted to the pavement surface with a tire and approximately uniform vertical pressure. P0405, the pavement should spread with the wheel load of the foundation since the maximum pressure foundation is only P415. Proper selection of pavement materials and adequate pavement thickness P14 would be smaller enough to be easily supported by the subgrade. Alright, this shows the oil well filled storage pump station storage fill still condensation, low dissipated magnesium, heavy dissipated gasoline, kerosene, diesel lubrications, processing, asphalt, residing fuel, oil, asphalt, air refined still, asphalt cements, emulsion plants. Figure 16 shows liquid asphalt products, gasoline, naphtha, asphalt, rapid curing, kerosene, jet fuel, asphalt, medium curing, residual diesel fuel, slowly volatile, non-volatile, asphalt cement, securing, slowly decuring, curing road oils, water emulsion, asphalt emulsion, water emulsion, running rapid curing, medium curing, and slow curing or liquids asphalts and inverted asphalt. Or asphalt pavement structure. Asphalt pavement is generally a term applied with the pavement the surface of the construction with the asphalt. Figure 614 normally consists of the surface course of the layer mineral aggregated coated and cemented. Figure 16.1 shows the use of various asphalt grades. Alright, crushed stone and rock and slag and gravel, Portland, cement, concrete, old brick, stone, block pavements, asphalt pavement structure consists all course above the prepared foundation, upper and upper layer of the asphalt wearing surface. Shows 6.3 shows the spreading of the wheel through the pavement with the structure, show the load, weight, and pavement structure not to scale. Essential properties of asphalt wear surfaces. Asphalt, one or more of the supporting characteristics of the asphalt medium consists of the asphalt aggregated mixtures, macadamium, crushed stone, rock, slab, gravel, Portland cement, concrete, old brick, stone, pavement, asphalt. Pavement construction at all courses above the pre-rated foundation, upper and top, lower of the asphalt wearing surface. Essential properties of the asphalt wearing surface. Surface of the asphalt pavement exposed with the vehicle traffic must be tough to resist the distortion and provide smooth, rigid surface that must be waterproof and sloped to shed the surface of water to the roadside, protect the entire asphalt pavement structure foundation from the erosive effects of the moisture and most resistant wear, cover the traffic and still retain necessary skid properties. It must also be bound with a layer of the course beneath it. Asphalt aggregated mixture, asphalt source, asphalt mixture with a treated granular material, asphalt subgrade, full depth asphalt pavement, asphalt grade mixture, asphalt source with granular base and was treated with the sum of the other asphalt granular material selected, soil base normally treated subgrade. Asphalt pavement with untreated base and subbase, and asphalt pavement with Portland cement concrete combined with Portland cement with concrete and asphalt. Asphalt mixture, asphalt surface with Portland cement concrete base, asphalt aggregated mixture subgrade. Function, base, and course of the subgrade. On the base and the course of the subgrade are structural elements of the pavement in conjunction with the overall asphalt surface for the purpose of the distribution of traffic loads of the whole foundation. Figure 16.4 with the perform this function. You build the base for the course and the subgrade with the necessary internal strength with the properties to respect the full depth of the asphalt pavement. Special advantage over the pavement and granular base. The asphalt pavement layers have both tensile and competitive strength, compressive strength to resist internal stresses. Examples, for example, 16.5 shows how a wheel load slightly defects the pavement structure, causing both the tensile and compressive strength with the pavement. Untreated gravel granular bases have no tensile strength, therefore they also spread to the lower wheel load over the broader as they are treated on the granular base. The result is thicker than the less total pavement structure thickness than the required for an asphalt base. Determine the required pavement thickness. Significant advance of the highway engineering is the realization demonstrating the structural design of asphalt pavement is similar to the proper design any other public complex engineering structure. When pavements are first being introduced, determine the proper thickness of the material. The guesswork rule of the thumb and opinion based with experience almost with some of the situation prevail and determine the dimension of the masonry arches and iron steel structures. However, these are early techniques and have long since yielded engineering analysis. Similarly, basic comprehensive analysis of vast volumes that accumulated document data structural design of asphalt pavements has not been developed into the reliable engineering procedure. No standard thickness for the pavement. The required total thickness to determine the engineering design procedure factors is produced and as follows. The tractors to be served initially over the design and surface life of the pavement, strength and other protecting properties of the prepared with subgrade strength and other influencing characteristics of the materials available to the chosen of the layers or cores of the total asphalt pavement structures. Any special factors, particularly with the road bending design. 4.16 show the pavement deflection over the tensile compressive strength and pavement structure. Load, notes not the scale, pavement structure, compression strength, and tensile strength. Notice the compression is over the tension, and then the compression is the tension is over the compression before the subgrade. Our stages of construction, because of the way of the traffic volume normally increase the pavement originally built for the thick enough to handle the immediate traffic volume may not be thick enough to strong enough to handle future needs. But the asphalt pavement, the problem can be met with a calculated first building thickness required, then adding the new layers of asphalt to increase the total pavement thickness. This procedure is called stage construction. Avoid extensive investment at the beginning when a new layer of the asphalt is added. The wearing surface is equal to better than the original subgrade of elevation. Several methods of evaluating estimating the strength of the supporting the power of the subgrade or the total day, including the loading following. Loading testing the field of the subgrade itself. For example, the plate bearing test use the large circular plates loaded to produce a critical amount of the formation of the subgrade in place. Loading tests in laboratory using the representative sample of the subgrade soil. The test commonly used the CBs within California before rating. Bearing ratio test with sometimes used the subgrade in place in the fields. Evaluation based on classification of the soil. Identify the testing constitute the particular particles of the soil. Two well-known classification systems are American Society of Highway and Transportation Officials Classification System and the United States Soil Classification System by the Department of Defense. Preparing asphalt and for construction operations. Paving grade asphalt. Asphalt cement with a non-atmospheric temperature, semi-solid. The high viscosity must be temporarily filled with liquid via the handling the construction operation, such as pumping through the pipes, transporting into the tank, spraying with a nozzle, mixing with aggregated with the pavement construction operation, or finally if the asphalt cement reverts in the normal condition function of the cementing or binding with a waterproof agent makes the pavement stable and durable. The asphalt can be made temporarily fluid liquidified with the construction operation three ways: by heating the asphalt after construction operation. Hot liquid asphalt cement cools, changes from fluid into normal semi-solid solution by dissolving asphalt, selected petroleum solvent, the cost called cutting back, and the diluted asphalt called cutback asphalt. Cutting back and cutting back asphalt as construction solvent evaporates, leaving asphalt and the cement back in place. Note that even the cutback asphalt as the United States has declined because of the petroleum shortage of the government environmental regulations being superseded with the emulsified asphalt, which contains little to no salt that can be used almost for any purpose as a cutback scan. By emulsifying asphalt with the emulsifying agent of the water, the asphalt water with the ordinarily do not mix. That can be made with the mix of the churning asphalt with the resulting product called emulsified asphalt is a fluid ready with the construction operation. During construction, water asphalt separates. The asphalt particles emerge in the continuous flows of elements with the cement aggregated particularly together with the water evaporates. When the water asphalt separates, the side of the emulsion breaks or sets. Hot mix or hot loading pavement mixtures is best for the type of the pavement aggregated with the binder should be needed about approximately 310 laid no colder than 250 deterring the exact temperatures of the eve depending on the weather. With the distance that the materials hauled, some clues that have indicated the condition of the asphalt are as follows: overheated asphalt lost with sometimes combining qual. These blow smoke rising from the spread of the hopper and sometimes indicate the condition exists. They generally stiff the appearance. Improper coating aggregated indicates the mixing too cold. Material laying flat with the bed of the truck. As the shiny appearance means the mix too rich in the asphalt cement. When it's too lean, the mix is looking dry and dull. The primary consists of the initial treatment of the biogranular base for the surface of the bituminous material or pavement. The purpose of the primary coat with the penetrate with the base of about a quarter inch minimum penetration is desired. Fill most of the voids. Promote adhesion between the base of the bituminous application placed on the top of the waterproof by the base surface. It must be as clean as possible, and where the conditions exist, the dried out surface of the light fog spray with the water should be considered by before priming actually begins. Primary material may be either low or viscosity tar or low viscosity asphalt with diluted asphalt emulsion. Bituminous material is used with the primary coat should be applied with the quantities known at the rate of application, not less than 0.2 gallons more than 0.5 per square yard. Normally, the construction project specifications denote the rate of application with the primary coat application. However, the rate of application is not included in the project specification. Navy Corps forces you with the rate of application with the 3/10 for the plating purpose. When that basically absorbs all the primary material, figure 1 hours when penetration to shallow bases under priming may be corrected by applying the second coat of the primary material. And over prime base, when they failure to occur, the set may be the contributed failure to pavement with the bleed up through this asphalt mat with the free film with the primary material remaining on the base after 45-hour clearing period. Indicate the base of overpriced. The condition may be corrected with the spreading of the light with the uniform layer of the clear and dries and over the primary coat to absorb the excess of the material. The application of the sand is usually followed by high light rolling brooming. The excess of the primary held in mind over the depression should be corrected by an application of the clear and dry sand. Loose sand should be lightly broomed and primed surface before wearing the surface laid. Primary base should be adequate before the wearing surface is laid with a general minimum of the 48 hours should be allowed with the completely curing. Ordinarily properly surface conditions indicated with a slightly changed with a shiny back appearance of slightly brown color. When a solid base is to be converted with the bituminous wearing surface, the air should be barricaded to prevent traffic air from carrying dust and mud onto the surface both before and after priming. If necessary, to be obtained the primary purpose of the traffic before it has been cleaned cured. The fine sand may be used when you are ready to play with the wearing surface. Lightly broom the sand from the primary base course. Designate the amount of bitumen required for the primary coat. Multiply the air to be treated by the ratio of the rate of application. And 8 understand or in condition with the estimate should be include the sufficient bitumen with the additional width of 1 foot of each side of the surface course to be constructed with the primary base. The formula primary coat is as follows. For computing gallons of the price code is needed as of the rate of application times the length times the weight divided by 9 gallons needed per waste gallons of primary coat times the workforce. WF05 0.10 total gallons per with the gallons project gallons primary coat times waste gallons equals rate of the application of the bituminous in gallons per square yard. length over the tread with a section in feet, and the width of the tread and surface in feet, and then square feet with per yard of the conversion factor, waste factor of the bitumen at 5% or 10%. This depends on the extremely asphalt distributor truck crew. Example of specification of other data of the primary coat applications are as follows: length times 3 miles times 3 times 5 times 280 feet, 1584 feet times 400 width, 12 feet times 1 feet on each side of the surface of the course to be constructed on a primary base. Rate of application 0.3 gallons square yard. Waste factor 0.5. Calculated number of the gallons of bitumen necessary to spray the tack coat. Going 0.3.15, 840 times 14 divided by 9, 6,650, 528 divided by 9, 7,392 gallons. Waste of the 7,000 equal to 7,392 times waste factor 0.5, 369.6 gallons. Total gallons required for the project 369.6 gallons, 7,392 plus 7,761.6 gallons. Always round your answer for the next higher number. In case the 7,601, 6 round with the 7,602 gallons. Tack coat application asphalt to existing paved surface provided bond between the existing surface and the asphalt material will be placed. The two essential requirements of the tack coats are always followed. The one bit must be thin, the two must uniformly cover and the entire surface to be treated with a thick coat with the most does not harm the pavement that will be properly bonded with the course. Some bituminous materials used with the tack with the coat with the rapid cutting, curling backs, road tar cutbacks for rapid setting emulsions may be used. The warm weather medium asphalt cements required because of the rapid curing. Cuts back high flammable safety precautions must be carefully followed. Tack coats should be applied only when the surface is dried and atmospheric temperature has not been below 35 degrees for 12 hours for immediately before the application. Before applying the tack coat to the surface, there's sufficient bondage to ensure all loose material, dirt, clay, and other objectionable materials are removed from the surface of the tree. But the operation may be accomplished by a power broom or blower, supplemented with the hand brooms if necessary. Immediately following the preparation, surface of the bituminous material should be uniform. Apply the means of the bituminous atmosphere distributed to frame temperature specify the amount of the bituminous application known as the rate of application for the tack should be applied in quantities not less than 0.05 or more than 0.25 gallons per square yard. For example, the various conditions of the existing pavements being tacked normally the construction project show specifications denote the rate of application of the tack and coat application. However, the rate of application is not included in the project specification. The Navy Construction Force uses the rate of application of 0.15 for the planning estimating purposes. Following application of the bituminous material, surface to be allowed to dry until the proper condition of the tack to receive the surface of the course with otherwise volatile substance may be the act as the lubricant of the preventing bonding of the wear. Surface of cleaning the dry sand should be spread on all areas shows an excessive bituminous blot of the curve with an excess of efficiency. Effectively, after excessive bituminous is set with any loose sand should be lightly broomed in primary surface before wearing surface is laid. Any existing surface that is to be covered with the bituminous wear surface should be barricaded to prevent traffic from carrying dust mud onto the surface either before and after the tack is applied. It should be necessary for the traffic to use the surface one lane may be tack coated paved using the other lane as traffic bypass. The bypass lane should be primed in sand before the open traffic and it should be swept and pre-primed before adjacent lane is completed. Doing this preserves the base and acts as the dust pile to shelter. The form of the tack coat estimates as follows. For computing gallons of the track coat needed equals rate of the application times length times width times 9. Gasoline needed for the waste. Gasoline for the tack coat with waste factor 0.5, 0.10, 10. Step 3 total gallons required for the project. Gallons of the tack coat. Waste gallons request of the application. Rate of application of the bitumen with the gallons in per square yard. Length of the tread section in feet. Width of the treated surface in the feet. 9 square feet with a per yard conversion factor. Waste factor of the bituminous of the 0.10 depending on the experience of the asphalt distributor with a truck crew. For example, specification of other data with the track coat application as follows: length times 2 miles times 5, 2,010, 10,560 feet. Width 12 feet. Rate of application 0.5 gallons per square yard. A waste factor 0.5 calculated sprayed in number of the gallons. So you have 1,408 gallons, and the waste of 1,408 gallons is 70.4 gallons. Total gallons required for the project 70.4, 1,408 gallons, 14.78.4 gallons. Always run your answer to the next higher number in case the 147.84 is run to 14.79. Types of asphalt construction. Two major asphalt pavement constructions used within today are the plant mix construction, so-called mixture of the prepared with essential mixing plant mix in place construction, so pick up the mixture is mixed in the area to be paved plant mixing construction. Asphalt mixture picture is prepared with the asphalt mixing plant known as the plant mix. The plant mix asphalt mixture asphalt concrete considered the highest quality plant. Mixing is considered the well-grained, high-quality aggregated asphalt cement. Asphalt aggregated with a heat is separated with a 250 to 325 carefully measured proportionally. The mix until the aggregated particle will be coated with the asphalt with a hot mixture with a keep during transit is hauled to the construction site, which is spread on the roadway. Asphalt paving machine. Smooth layer of the pavement is compacted by the roller's proper density before the asphalt cools. Asphalt concretes are between but one very hot asphalt plants and other mixes such as sand and asphalt. Coarse grade mixes are prepared and placed in a similar manner, however each of them has one common ingredient is asphalt cement. Asphalt mixes contains emulsified cutback asphalt prepared for the asphalt mixing plants. Aggregated may be partially dried in the heat of the mixes that withdrawn with the stockpile. These measures are usually referred to as hold the mixes, even though the heat aggregated may be used with the mixing in the process. Most asphalts are made with the emulsified asphalt, cutting the asphalt that can be spread with a compact roadway while the quite cool. Such mixtures are cold laid asphalt plant mixture that hold in place in normal warm weather temperature. The mixtures are after being placed on the roadway and sometimes processed worked back and forth laterally with a grade before being spread with a compacted action speed and cutting speed setting curing. Compute plant mixes material. Several methods used to calculate the amount of the hot mixture material required for paving the projects. However, when the weight of the hot mixture per square yard or cubic foot zone of the two equations used in the Navy construction force compute the number of the 2 ton of asphalt required for a project. These equations are as follows. Equation 1: tons of asphalt length of the width times diameter depth of the thickness times 146 to 100 divided by 2,000 equals the tons over the plus times the waste factor. Percent of tons plus tons equal to tons required. Length of the project in feet. Width of the project in feet. Depth of the thickness. Compacted map of the made. Must change inches in the feet with dividing the number of the inches in 12 inches. 1 foot. The foot. 4 paver screwed. Height 1/8 of an inch of the end of the mat may not be paved. Example of 2-inch mat. The 2 blocks would be and 2/4 inch thick would be required to set under the screed. Most blocks may be thicker than the finish. A compacted mat to allow the additional compaction of the rollers. 146 is the number that represents the approximate weight of the 1 cubic yard compacted height mixed asphalt. The number that carry over the 140 to 106 pounds. However, the 140 pounds equal to 110 pounds square yard per 1 inch of depth of asphalt. Using the second equation figuring tons required of the asphalt. Figure 562. Table 62. Waste factors equal to 5% or 10% depending on the experience of the screed operators and the handwork required on the project. 2,000 pounds is equal to 1 ton, therefore you must divide the total weight of the material by 2,000 given the tons required. Tons of asphalt is equal to length times width times equals square yards equal to times 100 pounds per 1 inch of mat of 2,000 tons. Variable 62. The weight of the volume in relation to various types of compacted asphalts. Alright, length, width of the project in feet, width of the project in feet, 110 pounds square asphalt per 1 inch depth of the 2 inch mat equals 200 pounds per square yard. To obtain square yards for square foot, divide by 9, 200 pounds equal 1 ton, therefore must divide total weight of material by 2,000. Given the tons required, waste factor equals 5%, the 10% it depends on the experience with the screen operator's handwork required on the project. Example, the specification parking lot will pave the project from length with 90, width 30, diameter, depth 2 inches, workforce 10. Final amount of asphalt for the project. Like we said, workforce times 33 times 10, 36.3 times. Placing plant mixing materials. Materials arrive at the construction site for the plant must be spread. They must cover the entire width of the road being paved. Is struck off of the desired shape of the thickness of the compacted. 3 general methods of spreading. Shape of the material used today. Hand spread, blade spreading, of the mechanical spreading. Hand spreading is usually the oldest method of spreading and shape. The mixture of the material method mixed into the dump and truck on the dump boards from which the material is shoved off on the road of the runway after the placement of the rack. Smooth the grade and contour with the compact roller. Warning: asphalt bituminous material can contain coal tars, benzite, other components that are suspected with unknown carcinogens. Workers should be avoid inhalation of the vapors, prolonged skin contact with the materials. Review material safety data sheets for specified hazard precautions. Because of the high cost of labor, the inability to obtain smooth and even structured stuff the spreading does not use the great extent that use the primary supplement other spreading methods. For example, hand spreading is used effectively for adjacent curbs and around manholes. Placing material by hand, you should be careful to prevent segregation of the mix and do not throw the material a long distance. Do not dump it into the grade of the height. Dump the material in small piles, level the material with a shovel, rakes, and lukes. Use the shovel to move the excess material, loot, and rakes to level it. Material should be as level as possible before compacting it. Alright, blade spreading. Blade spreading is done with a grader and skilled operator. The grader can be related to him the reasonable good surface and smoothness. Each successive pass for the blade reduces the irregularity. The surface often the blade spreading is used in areas too large and hand operating spreading and accessible mechanical spreading. Mechanical spreading. Specialized machines have developed and spread bituminous paving material self-propelled. These machines crawlers, wheelers, and rollers which run on the base of the foundation. Third, the mixture of the plant damage into the hopper car of the front of the paver. The paver places the mix even on the road itself. Figure 5-6 of the bituminous paver that can handle any type of the atmosphere asphaltic mix. Alright, compacting plant mix material. The most important phase of the flexible pavement, the construction of the compaction, the specified density of asphalt pavement mix not obtained during the construction. Subsequent traffic will further compensate the pavement. The consolidation occurs principle in the wheel path of the channel of the pavement. The subsurface of most mixtures compacts quite readily for the when they are spread and rolled in temperature to ensure the proper asphalt viscosity. Rolling should start as soon as possible as the material that is spread by the paver, but should be done with care to prevent unduly rafting of the surface. Mixing temperature, the principal factor affecting the compaction can only occur while the asphalt binder is fluid enough to act as the lubricator. When it cools enough to act as the adhesive further, the compaction is extremely difficult to achieve. The best type of the roll, the atmospheric measure, is when its resistant compaction is true the least, while at the same time it is capable of supporting the roller without excessive shoving of the asphalt material. The best rolling temperature is influenced interparticle friction of the aggregates, the graduation of the mix, viscosity of the asphalt. Therefore, it can be changed. The factors change the critical mixture temperature. Figure 16.6 of the bituminous paver of the asphalt project with the temperature at the time of the compaction. During the rolling, the roller wheels must be kept moist and enough water to avoid picking up the material. Rollers remove all the slow but uniform speed of the drive. Wheels near the paver, the speed should not exceed 3 miles an hour. Steel wheel rollers 5 miles an hour. Pneumatic tired rollers. The rollers must be maintained in good condition, capable of being reversed without backlash. Line of rolling should be not suddenly change the direction of rolling. Suddenly reverse must be because of the action will displace the mix. Any pronounced change of the direction should be made on the stable material. When rolling out the material displacement, the affected area should be loosened. Once the loose raised and restore the original grade with the loose material being rolled. Before rolling, heavy equipment introduced. The roller should not be permitted to stand on the finished surface before it is the early cold or set. Roughly freshly placed asphalt mixing is done with the following order: transverse joints, longitudinal joints, breakdown, initial rolling, intermediate, second rolling, finishing rolling, final step. Fixed step, the rolling flesh in the place bituminous asphalt mixture covered in Chapter 11 Trauma. Mixed in place construction that multivitamin asphalt many cutbacks as well as all the cutbacks is decline are fluid enough to sprayed out with the mixing aggregated with the modern warm weather temperature. When this is done with the area to be paved, it's called mixed in place construction. Although mixed in place is more of the general term of the applicable weather for the construction on the roadway, the barking area, the airfield, the term of the roadway. Road mix is often used for the construction on the roadway. Mixed in place with construction may be used as surface base for the subgrade core for the surface of the wearing curve. Course is usually satisfactory for light, medium traffic rather than heavy traffic. Having mixed in layers to cover the high quality asphalt planning surface, or is maybe suitable for heavy traffic service of additional with the mixed in place construction, including the following: utilization aggregated already with the road bed available to the nearby source of the usable without extensive processing. Eliminating the need of asphalt mixing plants. Construction can be accomplished with a variety of machinery, often more readily available. Motor graders and rotary mixers with revolving tines of the traveling mixing plants. Road mix pavements consist of the mineral aggregate, the mineral filler, uniformly mixed in place with the bituminous material, compacted, the prepared course, and subgrade. The signal length is 1.5 inch to 3 inch thick. Is generally the type of the pavement is likely to become defective unless it is sound, well drained, subgraded, as well mixed, uniformly spread, and properly compared. Road max is the pavement that may be used for wearing surface on the temporary roads, airfields, as bituminous pavement. Basin binder course of the construction of the more permanent roads, the type of the roads and airfields. Road mixes the economical method of surface small air for the aggregate can be used the existing base when the satisfactory aggregate is nearby. For road mixtures, the grade type with the bituminous material depending on the aggregated equipment available as well as the weather condition time required to complete the project. Good weather is important to success for the road mix project. Whether it is possible the road mixing operation should be scheduled with the weather and conditions are likely to be hot and dry. Remove some of the time after the project. Recommended the types of the bituminous material suitable for the road mix: asphalt, cutback, solid asphalt, and all stations, road tars, medium curing. Cutback is generally either moderate climate, the rapid curing cutback in cold climate. Viscosity required for the germination temperature, aggregated graduation. Method of mixing: high viscosity that will complete with the uniform coat of the particles. Aggregated should be used in general. Open graded aggregated requires high viscosity. Graduation contains minor mineral filler, requires less viscosity grade. Aggregated use of the road mix may be scarce for live with the existing subgrade hull with a nearby source of the wide range core for the fine aggregated with the mineral filler may be used with the ideal graded for the road mix. Pavement is well graded, dense, open with sand gravel with a clean shovel. The maximum size of the aggregated with the general is limited to 2/3 of the compacted thinning with layer. Loose thickness is approximately 1/4 time with the desired compacted thickness. Surface moisture is defined in the film of the water. Each of the particles is on the sand amount with presented during the heat of the weight sample the aggregated to 212 degrees open pan. Stirring it with a rod until the surface of the water disappears within 3 to 10 minutes. The difference between the original and final weights considered there must be a sure moisture loss during the drying. Loss for the weight expressed in the percent of the final drying weight. The most moisture content allowed before the aggregated mixture of asphalt, cutbacks, and rototars. The aggregated is too wet. It should be worked on the mechanical mixtures gradually to improve improvised plows to allow excessive moisture to evaporate. The cuts and cars must moisture content coarse graded aggregated should not exceed 30% with the fine grade aggregated 2% for a mold station. Moisture content with the coarse graded aggregated should not exceed 5% and fine grade aggregated 3%. Quality of road mix depends but largely on the control of the mix. The percent of the bitumen vary relationship with the quality of aggregate, the rate of the evaporation of volatile substances, and other factors. Although an exact formula is difficult to follow, the proportion must be controlled with narrow limits to ensure the stability of the life of the mix. For the density of the grade of the aggregate, especially too much bitumen should be used to help more particle of the other completed of the mixture should be coated with a uniform low color with the mix lean, the aggregated with the windrow with the will stand almost vertical. Have a dull look. The mix is too rich that oils and slip over the shape of the wind. The mixture is correctly proportioned. Hand filled squeezed into the ball will retain its shape within when the hand is open. The road mix pavements should be constructed only with a dry base when the weather is not rainy. The atmospheric temperature should be above 50 degrees. Mixture should take the place of the temperature for the aggregate below 50 degrees above the recommended temperature. Liquid asphalt being used for the construction procedure depends upon whether the base is newly constructed base or a scarified existing base or existing pavement. When newly constructed, the base is performed the following procedures. Inspect the condition of the base primary. The base allow the primary to cool. Haul in the windrow to aggregate the side of the primary base. Allow the aggregator to dry to aerate the blade when wet. Spread the aggregator with the curved prime base within 1/2 of the roadbed width. Spread the bitumen with the aggregate. The increments about 1/3 of the total amount required. Mix the bitumen with the aggregate blade back before the uniform mix is obtained. Repeat the direction 5 through 6 until thoroughly mixed. Spread the mix in specified thickness for 10 9. Pack the surface of the 10 and apply the seal coat when necessary. For the sacrifice base for the aggregated with sacrifice with not available, the other source of the construction procedure as follows. Loosen aggregated from the base, dry the breakup with all the materials bladed into the parallel windrows, the uniform size of one side and the center. Sweep the base and when needed, prime the base and allow the time to cure. Continue directed with the 4 and 10 above the procedure of the newly constructed base. When existing pavements is used as a base, the construction procedure is followed. Sweep the base, apply track coat, allow it to cure. Bring the aggregated deposit into the windrows to side of the cured tack base, aggregate the aggregate, aerate the aggregate, and speed the aggregate on 1/2 of the tack base. Spray the bitumen out of the grade in increments of 1/3 of the total amount required. Mix the bitumen aggregated with by the blade, spread of the mix, and specified unpacking the thickness. Back surface apply the seal with the wind necessary when mixing with the plate for the road mix here with some other helpful hints. Do not try the brook the nature for the stop of the operation when working under the adverse weather conditions. Keep the water mixture aggregated the well packed with windrow, better watering, shedding, and the control provided during cut through the windrow heavy rains. When grader comes to the end of the section of the full blade, lift the blade rapidly to avoid carrying the materials in the next section. The distributor spray must be cut sharply. The sectional joints here with the next section will cover the undesirable fat joints. Place the work and avoid inconvenience of the traffic. Apply the asphalt to the recommended spray with the viscosity securing the uniform application. Use through the outer end of the grader blade with the moldboard helps to obtain the good edge during the spreading operations. 9. Aggregate the shaded areas usually require the extra aeration. or road mixing method. 2 methods for the road mixing of the travel plant, mixing the blade, mixing the travel plant. When the travel plant is using the mixture in the figure 6-7, loose aggregate is dumped and mixed and bladed into the uniform windrow. Even when the necessary windrows should be efficiently crossed the section of the areas to be paved. And also loose material to give it the desired compact depth and width as the bucket loads over the mixture to elevate the aggregate to the wicks or hopper. Mixture immediately aggregates and sprays it with the correct amount of the bitumen. Mix of the two the uniform redeposit the mix and out of the windrow behind the plant. The rate of the travel the mixing and operation should be controlled so that all the particles aggregate the code of the mix in uniform accuracy. Is promotion of the mixture extremely important. The travel plant method usually produces a more uniform mix, higher quality than the blade mixing. Figure 617 shows a schematic layout of the traveler. Discharge insulated bitumen tank, the twin shaft plug mill, spray chamber, aeration feeder, meter pumping, calibrated gate, surge hopper, sliding hose, transfer jump pump, floating boom, multi-secondary transmission, hose fed, and speed spiral feed. Alright, heavier type of the asphalt cutbacks tires may be used with the travel of the plant method, be with reduce the type of the required for the curing the asphalt fissures may be used concurrently with the travel of the plant hampers with the finisher to keep the direct with the travel plant output with the shoe of the arrangement reduce the maximum output of the plant. Although it does not provide uniform thickness for the mat being laid, windrows must be contained with no material than the finisher can place. The more advantage of this is than the place aggregate must be the meter mixing of the place with the finisher without the necessity of the loading, transportating aggregated the finisher. Must review the travel plant construction of some of the airfield surface tolerance are critical. Or blade mixing. Blade mixing aggregate the drive and blade within the windows. Figure 6-8, but the windows are then flattened in bitumen specific material. Show the 1 and 2 applying the bitumen partially and the mixing of these 3 passes. Show the graders and apply the bitumen distributed with the 3 equal applications. Each application is 1/3 of the amount required immediately the following. Each of the application bitumen distributed treated aggregate shipment for the spring tooth double head disc harrow grader with motor tiller's combination of this equipment with all partial aggregated or evenly coated with the graders. Each of the windrows move with the size successful cuts within the blade. Several grades can operate one behind the other to reduce the total time required with the completing of the mix. The train with the loading of the should be made with the bottom of the top of the mix of the top. Temperature migrate the down. After all the aggregated has been mixed, the mix should be played into the single windrow with the near of the center of the road. The turn not less than 4 complete turns from one side of the road to the other. Excessive bitumen deficiency bitumen not even mixing should be corrected by the additional aggregated bitumen material filed with the brewer. Mixing should be continued to complete satisfaction. Remember to mix the setup if the mix too long. Suppose the material, weather conditions, and equipment well suited with the mix and paving the road with the airfield must carry the traffic during construction and such ground safe for the men drove the aggregate, the mixing, spreading bitumen spent does not elsewhere any of the smooth ground which can be compacted for the purpose of any of the unused airfield surfaces of the road airfield surface the basin upgraded to pave within the prime of the tack code of the required for the complete construction of the complete portion of the rock airfield, the operation of the traffic, the primary tack code for the codes. Max plate with a mixed up and track of job site dumped and then blended in the windrow from spreading. Bitumen mix should not be spread within the surface of the dam, but when the mixes itself contain excessive moisture, mixture material may be spread as required within thin equal layers by the grader with the finisher. When the finishers use additional support equipment is required, but the material may be slipped within the windrows of the 8 to 12 feet window pavement. Spreading the mixing in the windrow should be take care of the preventing care of the underlying subgrade of the brace course. Prevent such cutting, and you should leave lever mix leave a layer mix approximately 1/2 inch above the bottom of the windrow. The material being the spread with it should be rolled of the replica with the grader to move the regulators. Removing the remaining of the material should be spread with a rolled and thin layer of the entire the mix with the spread with the depth of the specified during the spreading of the compacting strip to be dragged and blade with necessary to fill any of the rush. Remove the corrugation wave of the other regulators. Both pneumatic tire and steel wheel rollers may be used to roll also for the treater jobs. However, the pneumatic tire roller is preferred to type all layers should have the satisfactory spread of the surface should be rolled in 2 axles of the tandem of the rollers. Rolling should begin at the outside of the surface to proceed with the center of the overlapping successive strips that are at least 1/2 of the width of the wheel with the roller. The alternate strips of the roller should be different length of the speed roller at all times should be controlled with the void placement of the mix. Little blade of loading of the surface of the grader during the road is to be required. Rolling should be continued until all roller marks are eliminated. Maximum density of this obtained prevalent adhesion of the makes of the roller should be kept with the roller where most of the water use only enough water to avoid mixing of the wet material. At place not acceptable, the roller mixers are thoroughly compact with a hand tamper. The surface of the course becomes the rough, the corrugated, even uneven texture water soaked with the traffic marked with the unsatisfactory portions should be torn tom up and remove the relay, replace and from the reform of the torn, not even the surface being compacted with the finish and out edge of the should be timed trimmed neatly in line. When the road mixture surface the core of the construct with the open grade aggregate, the surface of the treatment that may be required for the water, surface of the treatment unnecessary for the dense grade of the well composed of the road mixed pavement. Possible traffic should be kept off the freshly sprayed asphalt mixing material when it is necessary. The traffic over the new work speed must be restricted 25 miles an hour left until the rolling is complete with the asphalt mixture is firm enough to withstand the high speed traffic. Inflexible movement, the inflexible pavements can be placed in one of the 5 classes. The classes are cracking, distortion, integration, slippery surfaces with surface judgment problems. Alright, I'm going to cut the tape there. Well, cut the tape.